Well, folks, I've been explaining this to you, and apparently my video's been off. I don't know what I did to it. So, here's my wadded up example of what we were doing. I was saying that you could use paper to plan, you know, where you might want your stems, like that. It's all mangled now. And I thought like this. It's just a way of helping you visualize. I didn't want my stems to be parallel to each other, and I didn't want this stem to be parallel to the edge. So I'm doing something kind of like that. And I've already got it drawn here. I don't know if it shows very well. Hope this is still working. Okay, apparently now I'm filming. All right, so I've mixed Quinn Gold and Prussian Blue to make a dark. Oh, the other part that I was explaining, which must not be recorded either, is that I came back with Magic Eraser and lifted this area, and the minute it lifted, I went, oh, that's better, you know. So now I've got this light blue in here. I like the way it looks. When you're using that Magic Eraser and you're using Arches 300-pound paper, you can just do magical things. I'm not saying that you want to do that on every kind of thing you're working with, but I bet we could all of us utilize it more than what I've shown you to do in the past. So I'm making the stem, and I'm doing, let's see, I think I said this a while ago when the video wasn't going, a dark over a light, because a whole lot of this is lights over darks. And now I've got this nice dark over light going here. And maybe I'll just make it come down about like that. But I don't mind if, in fact, I would prefer if it was a little bit ambiguous. So, there. And you can see that tape thing showing through here. And I think that's all nice too. And then this one, again, I don't make this one too strong. But again, I want it to be the dark over a lighter area. It also is the dark that's behind this light. So, you know, you can throw some water in there, and then you can always spatter it too. That just looks static. See, it just it doesn't please me. Let's spatter on top of them a little bit. This one's okay, but that, you know, maybe if there was a little leaf coming off of there, but I don't think I really want to fill that in with, well, maybe we'd make just a little leafy thing kind of trailing down like that. Yeah, that kind of, see, it's not so stiff now. All right, so I had pulled up the tape, and I showed you how great it looked when I left the tape on, but now you can't see that. Let's just take some Quinn Gold again. Let's take a little bit of this and make a lighter version. Let's see what that would look like on top of here. I think I want that a little darker. But I want it to show up as different. I think when that's dry, that's going to be pretty nice. I'll try these. I don't know about that. I think I want a little more blue in that one. And the thing is, you're not going to have exactly the same situation at this point. This is about how you go about playing with it and finding your painting in it, not mine. Let's see, this one needs to change up a little bit. And I just slopped over the edge, and so I've got a little darker edge running around these, which I really like. That, I'd almost be happy with that, almost like it is. Let's just maybe tint it just, well, I think I want a little more blue in that one too. Let's see if I can get something. Well, I've still got a little bit more of the green in it. Okay. Let's leave it like that, at least for now. Again, I think I want to break this up just a little bit, just a little too stiff looking there. I like this the way it is. I got an edge happening there where I blotted that. I think I'd like a little bit of it. I just don't want too much there. Okay. So we also have this problem over here. And all I wanted to do here was I wanted to extend my flower. Because I kind of shifted the whole flower this way. Y'all saw that last time. It will have been last week by the time you see this. Oh, and then there's this thing. See, these are those little green things. And this, I don't know what this was going to be at some point, but now it's nothing. So I'm going to fill that in. And again, it's not quite going to match the part of the leaf in behind. And not only do I not care, this may actually be more exciting like this. We'll see. I've got so much activity going on in this thing already that I kind of have to be careful not to get too much more textural things going on, because it could get pretty confusing. Go deep in that just a little bit. Okay. I can live with that, whatever that is. And you may not like that. And if you don't like it, don't do it. So I think now that I wiped out that that green that we had been using before, now I've decided I want some of it back, of course. So this is Cad Yellow Light. Oops, I've got a little bit of blue in my brush, but that's fine because I'm going to make a green anyway. Cad Yellow Light and Cobalt Teal. And if you've not played with Cobalt Teal and purple together, you haven't lived yet. If you don't have Cobalt Teal, you're sitting home without and not able to go out and spend money. Get on the internet and order some. All right, so I'm going to come this way and I'm going to put some color in here. I need enough color to make these petals have a little definition. I don't really want a lot. I think that's enough. Hopefully it's going to dry a little bit lighter. If it doesn't, I'll probably go back in and mess with it. I think I'm going to put just a little bit of tiny touch of orange into it. Part of it. Just, okay, there. I mean, you might want to put something totally different into it or do something totally different there. Am I going to define every edge of this? Yeah, I may just leave that like that. I don't even know yet. So maybe we'll...
Do you have another one ready to be posted?
Okay. You know, this is getting near to being done, and I thought I had a lot more to do on it. See, I had planned some of those little swirly things and stuff going on in here, and one of the problems with that is that I've already got enough texture in here that it's liable to screw us up. Oh, right here, this, I wanted to do something here. So I'm going to dry this and come back. I do have a couple of things to do. Okay, we're back on. So this thing right here, see, I've got these little greeny things that are up there. I've got some of those coming out here. And then there's a bud over here. You can't tell where the bud stops and the other thing starts. Anyway, I do want to break this up into two shapes. And so I'm going to use the packing tape. Okay. I think about right there. So, sharp razor blade needs to be a sharp one. Let's see, let's make that so that I can pull it up easily. There. So what I wanted to do is smooth this down. I want to make maybe I'll make this the edge of the my hand's in my way of seeing what I'm trying to do. Let's make this part of a stem. Remember, these are big fat stems. And then let's come out and do something like that. Yeah, right there. And let's see. Then I'm going to pull it from back up here. Where'd it go? I lost what I was doing. Because I don't have a line here. I'm making it up as I go. Oh, I've got it stuck all the way up there. Okay. I put out more tape than I needed. Here it is. Right there. Oh, this is the side I want to keep. Okay. Let's start again then. There we go. Finally. Oh, I've got a wetted up mess there. Okay. That's it. Now that's a pretty sharp blade, so I'll put it back in this so that I know that this is still a sharp one. They don't stay sharp enough to suit me very long. Okay, so here's my edge, and I'm going to lighten this, even though it's going to mess with my little fancy tape shapes that I like. You know, one of the advantages of the packing tape is that you can really see what you've got. It just pretty much doesn't distort anything. Of course, it gets to be a little hard to find sometimes. I think I'll just weaken this on up there like that. Maybe that's enough. What do you think? So let's pull it up. Now I don't like the shape. I'll just do this. That'll have to do. My marker tape keeps coming up here. Okay, that's better there. Now, one thing that I did with the other, that I'd planned to do with this, and I'm not going to do very much of it, but I'll do a little bit. I think we could use a little bit. Is I'm going to take my cadmium scarlet, okay? So now I'm working with a paint that's opaque. And by the way, this is real cadmium, which is more opaque than the imitation cadmiums. And I'm going to glaze cadmium on top of some of my greens. It's going to make them a little browner. And maybe, believe it or not, a little darker. That doesn't look like that's going to be darker, does it? Let's put a little water there. Let it run down. I'll go around that. I love what cadmium red does on top of greens. Oh, now if it would just stay like that, that's so gorgeous. So I like it like that strong, which means that since I'm seeing it and I like it like that, I need to make it stronger because when it dries, it's going to be a lot weaker. So I'm going to do just a little more, and I'm going to let it run down. I hope that works on the video. I think it will. See, here's where some of the red was before. I'm kind of encouraging it to come on down and make some drip lines. This will still be unified in that it'll be a dark, I think. But if it isn't, I'll do something to that. We have to let it dry before we really know what we've got there. Well, I've done it in one place. Now I have to do it in another. Where would y'all like to see it? This just looks so strong that it's a little bit shocking. The other thing about cadmium is that it pulls up real easily. So if we decide that we've got too much, just a touch of water and a little bit of blotting and we can weaken it a whole lot. Okay. Here, or, you know, I want a little bit there. I was planning like 3 places, but I can see that 3 places aren't going to suit me. It's just a dot of that in here. Oh, I like that next to this. By the way, we've got a little work to do up in here too. And a little work there, actually. But I'm having more fun putting on red, so I don't really care about the details. Okay. Let's just get a little spot of it down here. See, that's already getting weaker over here. This looks real strong and bright. It's great on top of some other things, and especially greens or blues maybe, but it does not hold up well by itself unless you're just using it really strong. If you glaze with it just on white paper, it's just about the dullest, saddest stuff you ever saw. But then you use it someplace like this. I'm liking it. You know, another problem is, do you like it so much you get carried away and do too much of it? Which may be the fatal mistake I'm making right now. Okay, so while we're waiting on that to do whatever it is it's going to do, let's take care of this little area up in here. So that looked really weird before, because these are like little, those little tiny petals that curl around the head of the seeds. So that needs a little bit more detail. I already put some in. You can see I put some in right here. This is not, I didn't do that on the video. So I'm just going to take a little something that's warm and dark, which I've just got something right here that's, I don't know if that shows. And I might put it a few places along here. I want those edges to vary. And see, that's just too heavy there. That looks, move this one up here. Okay, so again, you want to break that up. At least I want to break it up a little bit. Oh, gee, here's a little cad red. If you put it on heavy, it's one thing. If you glaze with it, it's so much weaker than your Quins or almost any red you can find, actually. But it'll work fine here. You know why I used cad red there? I used cad red there because it was the closest thing to me. Sometimes that's all it is to making my decisions, and then I see something I like. Okay. Now this area down in here could also be a little darker, but that's too wet. What am I going to do here? I can come back and I can deepen that. You know, I don't know what I want this to be. I think I prefer for the area behind it to be darker. And to have that little bit of underneath petals stand out, but it's not going to stand out unless I put this back in, I think. So we need some, what did we use before? We used a whole lot of Quin Gold. I remember that part because I always use a whole lot of Quin Gold. Whole lot of Quin Gold, and oh, I know, we used some permanent brown. I think. I'll pretend we did. There. Okay. So I want to come in behind that far. Remember, I was trying to move this over at one point. Well, that doesn't match anything, does it? See, where's all that red gone? See how much weaker it is? Well, let's just throw a little Prussian blue in there. Real thick. I have to put it in evenly. I don't want it to be totally even. Let's make that a little darker with Prussian. A little bit. Oh, I still don't want that to all be the same. Okay. I haven't decided about this area. I kind of hate to define every edge of this flower. Of course, it really varies so much that I don't think it's overly defined. But that's kind of lost. That was another one of those little green things. I don't know what to do with that. Maybe I'll just leave it like it is. I might just leave that like it is. Or I might put in just a little bit of definition. Just enough to hint without, and still keep it sort of lost. This area right up in here could stand a little, oh, you know, Quin Gold. Because that could get a little darker, like right along some of these edges. Don't make them all the same, though. And then you want to soften it really quickly. By quickly, I mean you don't want it to bleed out further because you want this center part to be light. Because what that does is, that puts that curve in the petal that's pretty. At least I think it's pretty. Oh, maybe that's enough of that. Let's see. Now, I'm not going to say that that's totally finished, but I think that's close. I think right there. By the way, I still got tape here. I'm thinking about leaving it. I might have to glue that spot down. I just like a little something right there. Yeah. Okay. I think this is pretty near done. Doesn't mean that I won't go back and do something more to it sometime. And what I'd really like to do is another lesson with almost the same picture, but I'm not going to because I think y'all would be sick of it. But the thing is, there's a whole lot of techniques that I had planned to do with this that I didn't. And I can see ways that I could improve as an artist if I did this again. But I do like this. Now, let's compare it to what we had before. And I don't think there's really room to have them both on here at the same time. Let's see what happens if I turn it like this. You can kind of see them. Kind of, sort of. They're kind of distorted. So here they look more alike than they do in real life. I really do prefer the color over here. You can see though that I never did get that light coming in behind effect that I've got here. And see, I've got these bits of white. By the way, I stuck some white ink in here too. But those little bits of white also, along with this effect, make this feel a little more backlit, whereas this one doesn't so much. I think this is better color. There's a lot of things here that I like a lot better than I do in this one. But there are things here like where these two hard-edged areas overlap each other. I would like to do more of that in my paintings. This lift and the little dot, lifted dots, I like that idea. I love, of course, putting little swirly things in. But this has already got so much texture that the little swirly things would just clutter it. So it's got enough. You can see I have more buds here. I might do something more, like put a hint of the other side of this bud in, with the center. I might not. I may never touch it again. It'll probably just go in a stack against the wall, but it really would be a good idea to play with it some more. Yeah. So that's it. And so it's happy painting to you, and have those, what y'all call happy accidents. I call them discoveries, and use them. That's all. See you next time.